All right. Hopefully you guys can hear me all right and everything is going well. So this is the first live Q&A for 2021. I'd like to do quite a few more of these. Maybe I'm kind of thinking like every other Friday or something like that, depending how many questions I get throughout the week. And, it's just kind of going over and addressing some of those things that come up, things my clients have sent me, things that I get throughout the day or throughout the week. And I kind of do my best in answering those. So we got some good ones today. Before we get into that, I'll do a little bit of housekeeping. So I am using the community app, and I am starting a sort of health and wellness community. There is a text message or a phone number down at the bottom of the screen there, kind of ticking past. You can send me a text there if you got any questions that you'd like to answer. But this community is going to be centered around sort of health and fitness and wellness, mental health as well. And it's basically a text messaging service. So it's something that I can curate really well and kind of get through the information. Now, admittedly, the first message you get back when you send a text message to that number, that's an automated response. But after that, every message you receive will actually be from me. So that's the first thing. So make sure you join that. Send me a text message. The next thing is I've got a strength and conditioning program for Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu happening. We've got a Facebook group set up for that. It is a private Facebook group, so you've got to request to join, but I will add you. So that is kind of the way I'm giving back to the BJJ community. It is a complementary workout system looking to ramp up your conditioning for Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So with tournaments and whatnot being shut down right now, now's a great time to get yourself in the best possible shape so that when you do think about competing or when you are able to get back on the mats, you're in the best shape as possible. So again, 100% complimentary. All you got to do is join the group and everything is going to be in there. And I'll tell you what, if you're not part of that group and you're doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, you're breaking my heart if you're not part of that. So get involved. Ask to join that group, and I will sort of confirm your request to join. So on to today, we are going through some questions. All right, so first one. Now, I did take some notes on some of this stuff as well because there are some pretty crazy questions. So first one is BCA supplementation. Is it worth it? Anytime we start to talk about supplementation, the first thing I think you need to do is actually just audit your nutrition. So you want to have a look at what you're eating and look for opportunities that could be there to improve your nutrition. Hey, good morning, Christina. Thanks for the message. Thanks for tuning in. Also, on a side note here, I'm just going to put a link to that Facebook group into the comments there. So hopefully you guys can see that. Maybe not on Twitter, but all right. Anyway, BCA supplementation. Interestingly enough, there was a research paper done, I think it was this week. I just got it either this morning or yesterday or something like that. But basically what it found that, with a proper nutritional diet, so with some good protein sources, if you're getting enough protein, you don't need BCAAs. It concluded that BCA supplementation provided no added benefits on strength, hypertrophy, so gaining muscle mass, when the person was getting enough daily protein. So as long as you're consuming enough daily protein, you really don't need BCAAs. The bottom line on that is focus on meeting your daily protein requirements from whole protein sources and not relying on supplements. Now, if you're in a pinch, then yeah, maybe it's good to have. But bottom line is make sure you're just getting enough protein from your diet and you won't have to worry about BCAAs. They are essentially expensive flavored water. And that study was done by, I found it through Brad Schoenfield, who's does a lot of research and whatnot. But I think it was done by a guy named Daniel Paltkin, Ellen Argan, Kevin Tipton, and Derek Van Every. So anyway, you can look for that if you want to actually read the study. Maybe I will toss it into the comments if I get a chance. All right, so that's BCA supplementation. You don't really need it if you're getting protein. That's my next question here. All right. So what should I take for a snack on my longer hike? So that's an interesting question. Really depends on what your fitness goals are. Chances are, also depending how long that hike is, chances are you might not even need a snack. But if you do feel that, or you do find yourself getting a little bit hungrier, my favorite thing is, like, this is super simple. It's just a bag of nuts, like some trail mix or something like that. You're going to get enough like calories and fat through that way that, you know, you'll be able to make it through your hike if you are getting hungry. Again, I like more of the whole foods approach. So like nuts and seeds and that kind of stuff is going to be your best bet. You could go with fruit or something like that, but remember about the fiber requirements there. You may need to use the washroom at some point, but I prefer the nuts. That would be my recommendation, unless, of course, you're on some sort of restricted diet or you have allergies, in which case we may need to have a few other considerations. So why do I lift quickly? So this actually was asked me at the gym the other day when I was doing bench press. And so I try to lower the bar slowly and then react quickly. So I really try to build up my reaction time and that sort of neuromuscular response where I'm able to push really quickly. And then what I like to do is I finish my sets off like with a rep out where I'm just pushing really quick. It's just up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down as fast as I can go. And that kind of simulates, like if you've ever done skipping for a long period of time, like it really blows up your cap. So it's really great for kind of building up the muscle. But for me, it's related to actually my sport. So Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I like to be able to make contact with my opponent and then react quickly as well. And so in Jiu-Jitsu, what I've found is that there is a moment in time that you can take advantage of. So for example, let's say I grab the person's, I grab a grip on the collar of my opponent's gi. There's going to be a moment in time where he's going to react to that. And so I either need to push forward if I want to say take him down, for example, or set up my next move, or maybe I'm doing like an arm drag or something like that. So I'm waiting for a response from my opponent. And then as soon as I get that, I need to be able to pull back or disengage or go into that next move. So one of the reasons I lift so quickly is because I'm building up this sort of neuromuscular response so that if I hit or I touch my opponent, I can either retract quickly if something occurs that I don't like, or I can move quickly into my next position or like where I want to take that grip. I'm kind of getting into grip training and whatnot in jiu-jitsu, but yeah, that's why I lift quickly. So it's also power development from more of the sports science background. What I'm looking to do is move a lot of weight as fast as I can. That's essentially what power is, right? So it's strength moving quickly. And that, I mean, that's really why I do it. So it's just power development. And then again, just reaction time for my sport as well. All right. So should you push through the ball of your foot or the heel when you're doing a hip lift? So a couple things with this one. So first of all, a hip lift in its most basic form is you're lying on the ground. So your back is flat against the ground, your knees are bent, and then your feet are on the floor. And then what you do is you lift your hips up and then lower them back down again. You can add in a hold or a pause or that kind of thing. But for the most part, that's what a hip lift is. Now we've got plenty of progressions and regressions. Maybe you've seen people do hip thrusters and that kind of thing. I do not call them hip thrusters because what I'm looking for is a more slower and controlled hip lift rather than a fast hip thrust. So I don't even want to have my athletes or my clients get into the idea that we are, thrusting up quickly. I'm trying to do a slow lift here. In fact, even the slower, the better in most cases. Now, should you push through the ball of your foot or your heel? I do not recommend pushing through the ball of your foot. I think that is going to lead to some unwanted knee aggravation. I prefer, in fact, even when I coach this with my clients, like anyone who's like beginner to novice even, I'll just take their foot right off the floor and just have them dig in their heels. So if this is my heel, I'll have that dug into the floor and this is their toes. Their toes are pointed up. So really now they have no other option but to push through their heel. And I found that works the best for cueing that. And the reason I want you to push through your heel, or at least get used to pushing through your heel, is because I'm trying to engage those glutes. So I want your glutes to be working and I want your core to be tight. So we shouldn't see any movement in the lower back. You shouldn't feel this in your lower back and you shouldn't feel this in your hamstrings. So if you're noticing some hamstring engagement, mention that to your trainer, whoever you're working with, and try to figure out where your feet should be. You've probably got your feet in the wrong position. Ideally, I think, like a 45 degree or 90 degree angle at the knee. So if you were sitting lying flat on your back, and maybe so you can see my hand, you could go say 90 degrees up to your knee and then 90 degrees across to your ankle and then up to your foot. And then I would take that whole thing and just rotate it downwards until your heels touch the floor. And that's about the angle I like to start people at. That one will probably require a bit of a video demo, but that's the best I can do for now. Bottom line, push through your heels, not your toes, when you're doing a hip lift, at least for me anyway. So probiotics, prebiotics, what's the difference? Yeah, so this is an interesting one. This is a tricky one because, well, it's not that tricky to answer that question, but again, this is going to get down to auditing your nutrition as well. So, gut health is a very popular subject right now. And really what it's about is trying to find a balance. So you don't want to take too many prebiotics because that's going to upset the balance in the same way that you don't want to have enough. And then you'll be dealing with these sort of like gut problems. So like I said, the first thing I would do is just audit your nutrition and look to see if you're eating a lot of like high fat, high sugary foods. If that's the case, you may need to change your diet. That would be your best option. And or maybe add some pre or probiotics on that. So prebiotics and probiotics, this isn't an either or question really. It's more about finding the right balance of both. So each one of them have their own role to play kind of in this battle for like better gut health. So probiotics are a kind of a living strains of bacteria that add to the population of good bacteria in your digestive system. Now, that being said, you can always have too much of a good thing, right? Prebiotics are specialized plant fiber that acts as food for the good bacteria that's in your gut. So that's going to stimulate some growth among the pre-existing good bacteria. So 9 times out of 10, like just making a good change in your diet is all you're really going to need to boost your prebiotic and probiotic intake. But at the same time, eating the wrong things like high sugary, high fat foods, like I mentioned earlier, can kind of feed the bad, quote unquote, bad bacteria in your gut. So something you can think about, if you want to change your diet, you can eliminate the high fat, high sugary stuff, or at least limit it. And then you can add things like fermented cabbage or pickled vegetables. Those tend to boost the probiotics in your gut. But again, this is a delicate balance. You want to try to find the right balance that's for you. So there's not really a sort of, my dog just walked in. There's not really a sweeping statement where you can say this is what everyone should do, but first thing everyone should do is actually audit their nutrition. So have a look at that first and then make a decision. Probiotics are a whole bag of worms by themselves because most of the supplements that you can get aren't really that good or don't have high quality prebiotics in them. So trying to find a good one can be challenging as well. Just going to add one thing here. So all right, just checking the comments here as well. Yeah, looks like there was some that I didn't get, but oh well. All right, so natural test boosters. So I got asked this a little while ago. They wanted to know, what the best sort of natural way to boost your testosterone is, and I got the feeling that my answer was probably not what they wanted to hear because, quite frankly, there isn't a magic pill that you can take for this. Now, when they studied these natural test boosters, like the supplements that you can buy, they did a lot of that on it was either mice or rats, and as it turns out, it didn't carry over to human studies. So there's a lot of evidence that it will work for mice and rats, but it won't work for humans. Now, that being said, things like Tribulus, for example, will definitely boost your libido, but they won't actually boost your natural testosterone. So typically, your natural testosterone tends to decrease as you age. So kind of middle-aged and older males tend to see their testosterone levels decrease by about something like 0.4 to 1.6%, like a year. So you end up with this sort of compounding effect of losing testosterone as you get older. And, you tend to see this a lot when kind of like in your mid-30s, I guess, is when a lot of males start to realize this. So fortunately, there's a few things you can do, and they typically don't cost that much money, which is nice. So the first thing you can do is actually get quality sleep. That's going to increase your natural testosterone. Working out. So getting some physical activity, like daily physical activity, is going to help. Weight management will help. And then some of the supplements that you can buy that will help are things like magnesium, zinc, and vitamin D will all help sustain like your healthy testosterone levels. So that's about all I really have to say about those test boosters. And that really wraps up our Q&A for today. So those of you who watched, thank you very much. If you have any comments or anything, send those in the, feel free to post those, and I will get to them when I can. Like I said, I would like to do more of these Q&As at least every other Friday. It would be great to do that, weekly, but given how many questions I get will sort of depend on that, and as well, of course, my time. And again, just one last thing. I've got that number scrolling at the bottom. It says send your questions to 204-818-8558. That is my community phone number again, or text messaging number. You can't call it. Well, you can call it, but you'll just get an answering machine. Send me a text message. I would love to hear from you guys. Let me know what you thought of this video. Again, that community is going to be a health and wellness focused community dealing with a lot of health, fitness, and mental health as well. So taking over that whole holistic approach to better living. So send me a message down there and I will get back to you as soon as I can. All right. Hope you guys have a great day. I believe I've got some client calls to get to. Christine, if you're still watching, I will be calling you in a moment. All right. Have a great day, guys, and a great weekend.